Hello and welcome back to All Over the Place. I'm your host, Eric Pervosnik, and I'm going to bring the guys in right away here because there's no fuss, there's no muss on this one. As you saw from the thumbnail, folks, we are going to be celebrating the career of Robert Duvall, who passed away in the last couple of days as we're recording this. Age of 95. So, just storied career has left us with so many great roles, and we're just going to get right to it as film lovers, as people who understand what he brought to the screen. And Jim, our film guru, I'm going to start with you.
All right, so I will start with my number 3. So my third favorite performance of his is as Detective Prendergast in Falling Down. And if you haven't seen Falling Down, first off, if you haven't seen Falling Down, stop watching this and go watch Falling Down. But that said,
or if you really don't have a whole lot of time, turn this off and go watch Foo Fighters' video for Walk, which is an homage to Falling Down.
That works too. But yeah, basically Falling Down, if you haven't seen it, is about a guy in LA who basically just kind of snaps one day and kind of walks across the city. There's a concept. And gets into all kinds of shenanigans, shall we say, and gets into a lot of trouble. And Duvall plays the detective who is trying to track him down and stop him from his shenanigans. It's a really great performance. He's basically kind of the mirror image of the main character, who's kind of snapped after being under the strain of being a working man, being screwed over by the system too much. Prendergast is the same way. He's about to retire. He's been basically stepped on his whole life. He's a doormat for his wife, for his boss, he gets mocked by the people he works with. He's just a guy who doesn't get any respect, and he easily could have gone the same way, but he has more of a strength of character. He's able to be more humble and has a better moral compass. So he doesn't obviously go the way that Michael Douglas's character does. And so he's a really interesting counterpoint to this main character who feels justified. But it's a fantastic performance from this guy who's just, the world dishes it out and he knows how to take it without being broken. Because he has that righteous moral compass. There's an absolutely amazing scene at the end where he finally confronts Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas is venting about, they lied to me, and Prendergast says, hey, they lie to everybody. Doesn't give you an excuse for what you're doing. So he really is the moral center. A little bit.
Yeah, Jim, 35 plus year spoiler alert.
Come on, right. Jim. Get it together. You better.
I spoiled the fact that they talk to each other at the end. You're right.
Damn it.
But just a great performance. And really the moral compass of the movie, the heart of the movie, I think. Fantastic work on that one.
I agree. It was a great movie. Those two kind of not playing off each other because they, like you said, they didn't come together till the end, but
right.
That yin and yang was really, really well done, apart from each other.
Right. Yeah, on separate journeys, but similar motivations.
Yeah, excellent movie.
All right, Marty, to you.
All right. Well, mine are. I'm just looking at them. There's one obvious one, but my number 3 is Days of Thunder. He plays he does this a lot, but the older guy who's wise and in this movie he's done with racing and he's out there on his farm and just enjoying his mellow life, and along comes some dickhead Californian. Come on, man, I want to race. Somehow talks him into it, but it's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun. There's comedy, and if you like NASCAR, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, although I do like anything that has a combustion engine or otherwise. I like racing, any kind of racing. I'll watch, a couple of ants race. I don't care. I like racing, and so NASCAR is, it's up there for me. I like NASCAR, and it was pretty well done. The racing part was, they got to make it. It's Hollywood. They got to make it exciting. But just him and Tom Cruise going back and forth, and the young punk, the good-looking guy with the cool hair and the motorcycle, and this kind of guy that was he's a farmer, and he's just not into any of this, and he gets talked into it. By the way, Randy Quaid was great in that. He's the one that talks him into it, but he does that. The one knock on Duvall is that he plays the same kind of character, but it's an awesome character, like the other Bobby D, that dickhead. Same thing, it's kind of the same dude, but it's really, really good. Really, really good. So anyway, Days of Thunder was great, and I loved how he just sort of played the calm, wise old guy in that to Tom Cruise's 200 miles an hour with his hair on fire. So it was a really good contrast. It's been done, but
yeah,
that was a version of that story. So it was really good. Really liked it.
Yeah, that was one of my honorable mentions.
And I'm not a NASCAR guy, so I haven't seen it. So it's all you guys are all. It's all you two on that one.
Yeah, I like the doctor. Oh, and the doctor scene, but before that, the Highway Patrol scene, and then then that sets up the doctor scene. It's an old movie. Basically, they get a Highway Patrol person, but it's a stripper hooker, and they trick him. Later on, he thinks the doctor is that also because she's super hot, and just funny shit. It's guy jokes, but whatever. It's really good. Definite guys movie. You can't knock Tom Cruise. He makes some good guy movies. So anyway, Bobby D was great in that.
Yeah, he has an amazing ability to just ground any story he's in. And I mean, this movie's basically Top Gun with NASCAR. It's Tom Cruise driving 200 miles an hour and romancing a doctor who looks like a supermodel, and it's that whole thing. But Duvall keeps it so grounded. It still feels like a real story because he's in it, and brings such an earthiness to it. And he has a tendency to play off Tom Cruise really well. He kind of chuckles at some of the stuff he says, and they bump heads at first, but once he figures out what's going on in Tom Cruise's head, then he settles down and immediately works with him. And he has some scenes where he's just talking to the car,
that's great.
Just delivering these little monologues to the car before a race, and that could have been so cheesy, but he plays it so well that it works really well. He brought a lot to that role for sure.
Yeah, and in a role that did not have a lot of gravitas and the usual intensity from Robert Duvall, but one I still love. It showed that he had a nice comedic side to him, especially when he was going toe to toe with my beloved Coach Ditka. I'm going with Kicking and Screaming, a silly little PG-13 comedy about soccer. Will Ferrell and Duvall plays his overbearing father, and just an intense role, but one that was played for comedic effect, and I thought he was hilarious in it. And the guy has one of the greatest chuckles, self-bemusing chuckles ever. And it was on full display in that one. Great movie where he's out there to show up his son and ride him to death. And again, those scenes he had with Ditka going back and forth, those two just chewing scenery and spitting back and forth at each other. Fun stuff. Kicking and Screaming from 2005. That's my number 3.
Yeah, that was very good, very fun. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I watched it. I got drugged to it, Kicking and Screaming, and I liked it. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Yeah, you could tell he was having fun in that role, just an outsized role that he could just sink his teeth into, and clearly he was having a great time, and that really came through. Yeah, it was not one of his best movies, but he was a lot of fun to watch in it.
And I was watching an interview with Will Ferrell, and he was talking about being on the set, and again, that intense actor that here's Will Ferrell and Robert Duvall, two completely different styles of acting, and he was it was enough into the shoot. He figured he could josh around with him or something. He's like, hey, I'm coming for you, and Duvall turns around, and is like, what was that? I'm coming for you. And he's like, okay, all right. Hey, just as he's walking away from him, he no longer has his back turned to Will Ferrell, but he's walking backwards, looking at him like, okay, I just being Robert Duvall, intense. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little story from Will Ferrell on the making of that one. So yeah,
Nice.
Very cool.
All right, well, Jim, to you for your second pick.
For my second pick is from a movie called Civil Action. And so anybody didn't do very well. It came out back in '98. John Travolta movie, legal thriller. Actually, one of Travolta's better performances. But so it's the movie has a premise that's right out of course I'm blanking on his name, but all the legal thrillers and John Grisham.
It's on the blank, John Grisham. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Premise right out of John Grisham, where there's a John Travolta's an ambulance chaser, and he's helping this town sue some companies that did some environmental malfeasance, got people sick. It's straight out of the Hollywood playbook, but it's like John Grisham for the real world, where things don't play out the way Hollywood usually has them play out. And Duvall is just absolutely fantastic in it. He's so he plays quote unquote the bad guy. He's the lawyer defending the corporations that are being sued by Travolta's firm. But the way he plays this role is just so good, because all the other characters in the movie, all the other lawyers are flashy and they're all giving big speeches and being self-righteous, and he's this quiet guy in a cheap suit, and he has all these affectations, like he has an old bag that's like held together by duct tape, and he just he sits in a corner in the library listening to a ball game while he's doing his research, and very soft spoken. So he's just completely unassuming, and humble guy, totally laid back, just the complete opposite of everyone else. But he's the smartest guy in the room all the time. And he's always outwitting people, and he's always outthinking people, and he's always putting Travolta in his place verbally, not by being a jerk, but just by telling things the way they are. He really runs away with the movie. He's so good in it. He's clearly he's the person we're not supposed to like, but we really like him. And
the anti-hero.
Yes, he's kind of an anti-hero, but he's absolutely fantastic in it, and it's a great movie that I wish more people saw, because I think it's one of the best legal thrillers out there. He's really, really good in that. So I think his character's name is Jerome Fletcher. Yeah. So
sounds awesome. I'll have to check it out.
That's one of those ones I've seen a lot of the clips from him, and I'm up for another Academy Award for that one as supporting actor. Yeah, just
right.
The ball.
Yeah.
Right.
And an amazing cast in that movie too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, Marty, to you.
All right. My number 2 is not a surprise to anybody at all, but it's Tom Hagen, Godfather, also in 2. I think he was in 3 too. Anyway, in The Godfather, he was just.
No, he was not in 3.
No,
famous contract negotiations, so not in 3.
Yep, you're right. But he just did his thing. He did his Duvall thing. But this time he was, kind of, he was the thinker, which, that's a Duvall thing. But he was, having to play that role of a guy who had to advise, but had to be careful what he said, because, you're advising. And if you offend somebody, it could get terrible. And he was just so good in that. He just, he was like the anti-mobster. He was the thinker, the one that kept him out of trouble, the one that always said, "Hey, well, haven't you thought about this?" And that's I like that kind of character, the guy that's out thinking everybody. And you got a lot of tough guys around, and he's running the show. He's making sure everything stays in line. And I really dug him in, and it's no surprise everybody loved him in that. He was this was his probably his biggest role, or maybe the biggest movie, and he was in some big ones. But man, just the guys that were in in those 2 movies, that just great actors, and he showed that he's as good as anybody. better than most. So really loved him in that.
Yeah, and his character wasn't Italian, so he was kind of the ultimate outsider, but still part of the crew, shall we say? So very tricky role, but he pulled it off really well, really well.
Tom Hagen, the Irishman, and how often is it the Irishman is not the hothead as a voice of reason? Pointing around a bunch of hot-headed Italians. There you go.
Yeah.
I'd say it's fiction. The Italian guy was the reason.
Yeah.
Well, this was also my number 2 pick, so I don't have a whole lot to add to what Marty just said, but it's again just he's the counterbalance to these guys who run more on emotion than anything. Although the Godfather knew you need to keep the enemies closer, all that stuff, but Hagen. You never saw him get flustered, even when going up against the Hollywood big shots and everything. And you just say, okay, sorry you feel that way. That whole thing, just cool, calm, collected, rolled with it, and just Duvall playing it so well. And
so you're saying he kept his head with the Hollywood guy?
Yes, indeed. Oh, where's trivia with Jim on that? See, there's a more somber 3 for / memorial, so I don't have the usual fun bag of tricks ready to roll on that one. But yes, exactly. So yeah, but Robert Duvall is Tom Hagen in the Consigliere in Godfather 1 and 2, 1972, 1974. Awesome, good stuff. So Jim, over to you for your number 1.
Okay, I'm going to mention a few honorable mentions if I could before I do that. Seconding a lot of the ones you guys already picked, but I'm also going to add, apologies if I step on anybody's picks, but the judge, or he plays a judge whose son is Robert Downey Jr. Great drama. One of the best recent dramas that have come out recently. Secondhand Lions, where he plays one of the uncles in that. The Apostle. Fantastic movie. He spent 12 years getting made himself. And seconding you guys on Days of Thunder and The Godfather. And I think I know who's I'm not going to mention this one because I think it's going to be somebody else's number 1. So,
yes.
But my number 1 is
both of our number 1s. But yeah,
probably,
go ahead.
Yeah. My number 1 is Open Range. He plays Boss Spearman in that. Just a personal favorite, probably not his best performance, but my personal favorite. He's
very good.
He is fantastic in it. And just a great Western, if anybody hasn't seen it. So it's interesting because it's, the movie's really Kevin Costner's baby. He directed it, he wrote it, he's starring in it. But him and Duvall are just, head to head on that one. And, I remember seeing some interviews with Kevin Costner at the time. He said he was a little bit stung by his previous movies being called vanity projects. So I think he kind of hinted at this. He intentionally wrote Open Range as being more about Boss Spearman in terms of he gets more of the dialogue. You get a lot of the plot revolves around him. There's scenes where he'll just deliver a speech and Costner will just sit there quietly and let him do his thing and just soak up that atmosphere that he puts out. And he's absolutely fantastic in it. I don't think hardly anybody projects authority the way he did. And it could be quiet authority or loud authority. You can go big or small, but he was just fantastic at it. And this was a great character because he's kind of a leader in the sense that he's a leader of this band of cattle grazers, but he's a very humble person. He doesn't really want to be seen as a leader, or he just kind of wants to get by, make some money, and move on with his life. But the movie's about circumstances that won't let them do that. So he's very, very reluctantly pulled into some very ugly things. But when world pushes up against him, he has to push back and say, I'm standing up for what's right. I'm standing up for what I believe in, and I'm not going to let people push me around. And he does such a great job of projecting that moral authority and that still humility at the same time. But just a rock of a character that will not be moved and would not, even though he's not an experienced gunfighter, he's still somebody you just wouldn't want to mess with. And he projects all of that really, really well.
Yeah. And that I'm reminded, it's been a while, but I think didn't he want to buy a bar with what's his name? Waite? I think his name Charlie Waite.
Yeah,
He
Charlie
wanted to
Waite.
buy
Yeah,
a
he did.
saloon. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that didn't go so well, and I'm doing the same thing right now. It's so, geez, I'll be Charlie Waite, and my wife can be Duvall. But yeah, that I like how they, you're right about the Costner thing, and obviously he got a lot of flack, but in this case, he let a great actor be a great actor, and it worked. It worked, and he didn't have to be the center of attention to have a great performance. I thought Costner was great in that.
He was.
He gets a lot of crap he doesn't deserve, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Robert Duvall really, he let the guy go. He let him work, and he, instead of trying to be an equal in the scene, he didn't need to, and he couldn't, and he knew that, I think, and it was a good result. Very good.
Absolutely.
Good to know that it wasn't another begging for Oscar. I mean, Dances with Wolves. Good. All right. Well, Marty, take it away.
Alrighty, my number one. I got a couple of honorable mentions. That was one of them. The Lonesome Dove stuff was really good. He had a pretty good role, albeit depressing, but in Sling Blade, there was it was a little rough, but Anyway, my number one is not even close. I absolutely love this movie. It's in my top 20, maybe 15. It's up there. I really love this movie. Colors. Him and Sean Penn, they couldn't be more opposite. And remember, Days of Thunder was on my list. These two are even more opposite. Because the Cole Trickle character wasn't an asshole. Sean Penn was an asshole. He thought so great of himself, and having that guy that's just always even keel, and always he knows more than you, and he's going to teach you a thing or two, and over and over and over again, and just kept showing him, and just shows what two really great actors, fuck Sean Penn, can do together when they're really hitting their groove. And I think in that movie they really just locked in, and it was perfectly done. And there was a line in the movie that I still use as often as I can think of a reason, and it's I'll paraphrase: when a relationship isn't working, you don't argue about whose fault it is or who did what wrong. You just go. You just get away from each other. No need to figure it out. Just separate. And I think that's a pretty good life lesson, even though he didn't probably write the line, but that's a pretty big one, and it stuck with me. Like, why fight it? Why bang heads? Just go. And but he was, man, I love that movie. I love how he handled himself. He showed. I believed he was a cop. It was really good shit. And came along, I think 98 or something, at a time where that was the kind of shit I liked. But what'd I say?
88. You said
98. You said 98.
Yeah, you know what I meant. 10 years, more or less.
I've been in enough Sammy Hagar shows where he gets almost every year wrong for the year of releases of songs. So whatever.
So anyway, I love that movie to death, and I think I might watch it tonight because the wife is in Iowa. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on the TV and watch that tonight, because
be that nightmare walking, psychopath stalking. Yes, go.
Yes.
I might join you in that, because that is also my number one. Marty and I mirroring each other with our number 2 and number 1 picks. And,
a new rule: when someone drops a number 1, the other person say it right away, and then we'll just go. You were way too quiet.
Awesome. You nailed the essence of that character, and just the way those two played off. Pac-Man and Hodges, the guy just coming in on the guy on his way out, which could have been such a cliche with getting too old for this shit, all that kind of stuff. And there was a little bit of that thrown around, but everyone thinks of, and I it's a great scene. There's a reason why we think the story of the old bull coming down the hill slowly versus the young cat guy who wants to go out and get them all. But there's another just very subtle scene in there where, Sean Penn, the hothead, gets out of the car and they're about to confront the guys who threw the rock at the car. And Hodges just gets out. He's got his baton, and Penn comes around with the shotgun, and he looks just like, "What are you doing? Get that thing back in the get that goddamn thing back in the car." It's like, there's little things like that showing like you don't need to be this gangster badass cop.
Yeah.
And just very small things trying to teach this guy how to work on the streets, and you don't have to be the hothead to get across to these gangsters. And just that again, intensity is a word that gets thrown on way too much, but you can't help it. That's Duvall was phenomenal at it, and I mean, just a very quick nod to his role as Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah,
that was a role where he said next to nothing. That guy had such a gift of nonverbal acting, which as someone who's not a good actor, but has had theatrical training, that's hard to do. And Duvall was a master at it. Non-verbally conveying whatever he needed to. And again, just being that seasoned cop in Colors, didn't need to say a whole lot, but what he did, you better fucking listen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He made that movie so good that The Sopranos quoted the joke, Tony talking to Junior. But more importantly, they made a whole ass movie with the same exact thing, except it had Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. So that's how good that movie was. They just redid it.
Slightly different ending, but yeah.
Well, sure. But they're like, man, this is a really great premise. Let's follow it. Let's do it again.
Right.
Anyway, you were saying, Jim?
Well, and Colors was made by, of all people, Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I can't believe nobody's mentioned Apocalypse Now. I thought for sure that was going to be you guys' picks.
But I was going to throw in honorable. I only have 2 honorable mentions, and one of them was Kilgore. And obviously the I love the smell of napalm in the morning. That's the more often quote. But Charlie Don't Surf. That's the one I like a little bit more. So and Jimmy brought up Secondhand Lions. And what I love about Secondhand Lions, besides watching Michael Caine and Duvall, 2 amazing actors, just play off of each other. But the bar scene, watching Haley Joel Osment's amazement.
Yep.
Yeah.
About a guy he didn't realize, or someone in his life that he didn't know he had, and watching what he can do at such an advanced age. So yeah,
that was a cool scene. Really cool scene. Again, the calm dude, and that was very cool.
And advanced age. There's 2 stories I want to share very quickly. The first one, recent guest of ours, D.B. Sweeney, who worked with Duvall on Lonesome Dove, and just said he really owed him because Duvall took him under his wing. DB was, still fairly fresh on the scene, and Duvall recognizing that really, helped mentor him, and DB was so thankful for that continues to this day. But DB was just saying, here's a guy who was that old school Hollywood who just on the set, and he'd be the guy telling the stories, and it's not. I'm blanking now on not cutting heads, but but you get together and he's equal parts raconteur storyteller. He's got you involved with all of his experience, cutting in with ball busting, and just making the set such a fun place to be, an educational place to be. But there was combine that with an anecdote that someone commenting, I can't whatever thread it was. It wasn't on DB's thread, but so on YouTube, wherever it was, but relating, just his one encounter at some premiere, and they're next to each other going to the bathroom, and this guy's taking forever, and Duvall's like, "Hey, what's taking so long over there, man? I'm 88 years old. I got an excuse. What's up with you?" And the guy's like, "Well, to be honest, Mr. Duvall, I probably have a little bit of stage fright now." And Duvall just doesn't miss a beat and says, "Well, okay, that being what it is, fair enough. But just remember, you shake it more than twice, you're just playing with it." Like quick wit, 88 years old, Robert Duvall, a master. And I actually had an encounter, nothing major, because I don't get starstruck very often, or didn't in when I was in LA. But this was one. He was at I can't remember, it was a premiere of one of John Ziegler's documentaries. I can't remember if it was Blocking the Path to 9/11 or Media Malpractice, but I happened to be in the green room at the same time as Duvall, who he just unassuming guy. What nobody's just no one's making a big fuss, and he's just there to see the movie. And I didn't want to be disrespectful of that, but I'm so like, I'm in a room with Robert Duvall, but you felt his presence. And here's that word again, intensity. It's like, I wouldn't have wanted to say hello for fear of him telling me not to shake it twice or something like that. Just having my balls busted for no other reason. Like, why aren't you leaving me alone? But yeah, he's at but you knew you were in the presence of greatness. And that's my Robert Duvall story. That's the long and short of it. But man, it was an honor to be in the presence of a guy who's at all the roles we've mentioned. And like, we barely scratched the surface with our remembrance of a guy who just from when did Mockingbird come out? 62, 63?
Yeah,
And
60s.
yeah. And just for decades gave us phenomenal role after phenomenal role, Westerns, gangster movies. Yeah. Just name a genre the guy could do it. Action and yes, kicking and screaming, being able to do comedy as well. So that is our all over the place memorial /3 for tribute to Robert Duvall. Thank you very much for all the roles. Rest in peace, sir. Rest in peace, sir.
Indeed.
As always, folks, thank you so much for watching, sharing, subscribing. Be sure to share some of your favorite Robert Duvall movies in the comments. And guys, arriving tomorrow, we have more swag. We have all over the place pins to start giving out to people. So looking forward to those comments. It's, not sure what Duvall is. Is that an Irish name? I'm not exactly sure, but we try to do it Wake style for him here, folks. Let's celebrate him Wake style, all the great roles. And thank you, everyone, for watching, sharing, subscribing, being a part of all over the place. Thank you so much, and we'll be back soon. Take care.
Bye.